broken homes and lonely souls is all they know. All they shown is courage despite the circumstances. Time is passing by. Stars command the sky, don't play dumb by asking why. You already know how all the stories evolve.
I am Mushaka, and you're watching Mushaka's Motivation. I am here in Brooklyn, New York at Neal Farinah's salon. Neal is a leading hair artist who has worked with a lot of artistic icons from Danny DeCane, Florence and the Machine, Kelly Rowland, Mary J. Blige, and Beyonce Queen Bee herself. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you.
Sit with
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
So within your artistry, I've been really fortunate to get to know you and learn about you. I feel like you are a living, walking icon. And I genuinely mean that, from the names and the people you've worked with and just that lead talent that you've created trends. Although I feel like you're under the radar, and I don't think you should be. Am I making that up? Do you feel that?
You know, it's kind of funny because I just came back from Atlanta, Georgia, and you know, I met so many wonderful people, and I couldn't understand. I mean, when I walk to people and they're like, "Oh my God, you inspired me! You inspired me so much!" And the love that I get from Atlanta, Georgia, I didn't understand it, but I appreciate it, and I understand now what I have did in the industry, like impact so much with my work, and I'm so thankful. I'm so blessed to work with some of these most amazing people, especially working with Beyonce and creating so many iconic moments and her tours, and you know, creating so much trend after trend, and I'm thankful.
But I want to break this down and just really go there, because this industry, I feel like there's a bit of a crack, or I call it shade, but there's a disconnect, right? Because you've been, you know, working with Uzo, you have worked with Mary J. Blige, you have been Beyonce's main hairstylist for the last 9 years. Yet I feel like there is a lack of that quote-unquote praise, that quote-unquote adulation, and not to say from an ego standpoint that that's what you need to verify your work.
Right.
But do you feel like there's a disconnect in any manner?
Well, you know what, to be honest with you, when I first came to the United States, you know, things was totally different to now, where when you first started, you have to either be a master cutter, a master colorist, or, you know, a stylist. And, you know, they kind of try to take away your creativity by painting you and putting you in a box. And I didn't want to be that stylist who were in a box, so I started working in Brooklyn, New York, which is one of my favorite places to be. I've been here over 25 years, and I developed a clientele of diversity because I'm a hairstylist, I'm an artist, and I went to school to do hair. So of course, anyone walk through my door, I wanted to be able to service them. And you know, of course, within the years, things have changed so much, like me going to the IBS Beauty Trade Show, and was the International Beauty Trade Show, and now under one roof, it's so different now that you don't see the diversity of the people that used to be there. And when I went to Atlanta, Georgia for Warner Brothers, everybody was colored and everybody was African American.
Intentionally?
Well, you know, as I said, everything had changed so much now that, you know, I miss the fact going to IBS and the diversity that we had underneath one roof, where it was African American companies, Caucasian, you just name it, was under one roof. And now it's
there's no longer that.
Right. And then when I went to Atlanta, Georgia, it was all these African American companies under one roof, and not known, or may never been, or never get the exposure like some companies do.
Right.
And of course, you know, I want to see the diversity that we had all these years, and I want to
feel like you're included.
Yeah, you know, again, of course, like, I mean, there's so many great artists like myself who have a work on platform, or was hired to work on platform, and there's so much other hairstylists who can work on platform, and now when you go to some shows, you don't see that. You don't see the diversity. Some of us don't get the credit that we deserved.
Why is that, you think?
Well, I mean, the industry, you know, I mean, I can't fix the industry. There's some things that I probably...
We need to make progress right now.
You know, yeah. You know, it's different. Like, you know, where Essence will call me and give me a story. Hey, let's do a beauty trend on you. Vogue never done that L glamour.
To this day.
Yeah, they never give me a story in their magazine. Well, hey, Neal Farinah, let's do a style. You know how you create, how you know what is the new summer trend or the
Even
next.
though Beyonce's been on the cover of Vogue and
Yes.
so forth. So, wow.
Yeah.
So this is why I love having conversations like this, and I carry your flag because I love the background of your story. And for those of you who do not know, I'll give a quick rundown. Feel free to interject, but Neal knew, you know, doing hair was his calling at about 8 or 9 years old. And he moved to the United States, Brooklyn, New York, like he said, at about 17, 18, landed here in New York City from Trinidad. Didn't have a clientele backing, didn't have, you know, resource name, even really like a steady job, and created, you know, from just going into a salon, created a platform for himself. So I feel like, and there's so much more that he's going to touch on. I would love you to take us to the earlier part of your developmental years of landing in New York and building yourself up in a salon such as this to now having your name up here. But what were some of those defining moments? Can you take us through your history briefly?
Yeah, you know, at a young age, I went to get my hair cut in Trinidad, and you know, I felt there was a passion there for me. I felt that was something that I can do. So I went to school, finished beauty school, and I had a friend and I had clients who were coming to me now when I started doing hair in Trinidad, and they're like, oh my God, you're so great, you need to be in America. And it dawned to me, I'm probably greater than I think I am. And there was a feeling that you kind of explain to people. There's a feeling inside of you when you know there's something greater for you. And the one moment I got an opportunity, I came to New York, and of course, we all have a different picture of what America is. And
Until you land at JFK.
Until I landed at JFK, and then I realized the reality is not what I thought it were. And you know, I mean, I come here at an early age when I was, you know, in my teens, and I had no direction, no family member, and you know, like everybody else, you have to struggle. And I had my struggling days, nothing to eat, nothing to drink, walking the streets with burning fingers and feet. Didn't have the proper attire because I couldn't afford it, and proper clothing.
And that lasted for how long?
It lasted within my first 2 years. And I had a choice then. I was like, hey Neal, you have a choice. You can either fight through the storm, or you can go back to Trinidad where you came from and start back from where you left off. And I didn't left much back home because I didn't have much back home either. So I didn't let the hard time take me down. I tell myself, if I let it take me down, then I lose. So
what kept you going? Because I feel like there's not a lot of instant gratification with true success, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like an organic growth process. So, you know, you went through the streets, you know, with shoes that didn't fit, with, you know, frostbite, you know, didn't have anything to eat at times. So what was your mental talk to yourself that said, I'm still going to take another step today and another step today?
Well, I believe in life, if you don't fight and you don't work harder, you will never accomplish anything. And I felt if I had give up in those moments, then I'd be a failure and I probably wouldn't have what I have today. So I felt I had to fight harder, and I wasn't going to let those things take me down. So I kept fighting, and the one day that I was offered a job in a salon, and you know, they realized how good I was as a stylist, and I no longer had to be the guy who was struggling to eat. I had money coming in now, so I could afford to eat. And then I started working, and I started building up my clientele, and it started growing fast. So within 1 year, I had an amazing clientele. And I remember going home for Christmas, I had my pocket full with money because now I was working. And
what does that feel like?
it feels great because that, it gives me more determination to work hard now, because now I realize, hey, I'm crossing the humps that a lot of us have to go through at times. So it's my time of climbing that hump. And
what was the first kind of hump you were like, whoa, I'm kind of on the other side? Was it when that salon owner kind of threw you to the fire? You were not getting clientele, and then he said, okay, well, what can you do? And you just started doing it. Was it that moment, or was it your first?
Yeah, that was my moment, because it was my moment to say, hey, I gotta show people that I can do here. I gotta show the staff that I can do here. I had to show this man, hey, he can trust me, and I can bring somebody in his salon. So of course, yeah, it was one of those moments. I had my first client, and I knew I had to do the best that I could.
Yeah.
So I did, and then it started growing from then on.
So take me to another amazing moment. 2007, Labor Day weekend. You get a phone call, right? And you weren't expecting it to be the call that it was.
Right.
Can you share that moment?
Yeah, well, I had clients, you know, like all different type of clients were coming to me. And I never really questioned a lot of my clients. And one day I got a phone call from one of my clients, you know, hey, you know, they have a job for me, a job opportunity. And I was like, okay. And the job opportunity was working with Beyonce. And, you know, it was my first time working with her. And it was amazing because here I am getting called to the Beyonce after everything that I've been through in my life. And I was like, oh my God, this is what it is. This is what it's all about. And, you know, again, at that moment, that's when I said, this was my calling, and this is the purpose I'm here, and this is the purpose that I work hard. And, you know, it's paying off now. So it was one of the greatest moments actually working for her. And it's been almost, 9 years now? And
9 years.
Yes,
And
yes.
so there's been a lot of talk of this epic yet controversial video formation, which you were creatively a part of.
I think it was creativity, and it was about a fashion statement, and I didn't think it was anything harmful to anyone, whatever color skin you were. I loved it. I think it was very creative and very brilliant, and I applaud her, and I'll do it again with her.
And then the long braids. Well, how did that come about? Because that was an amazing look and an amazing shot.
Right. You know, like everything else, you know, you have creative directors, and you know, you have all these creative people, and it was one thing that we had to do for the video, and we did it, and it really worked out, and it was a statement piece in the video. And you know, that's how sometimes videos or photo shoots are. There's some things that stands out more than some things in a video shoot or a fashion shoot.
Being black hair and women, healthy hair is big to you. Natural hair is really big for you. What are the main things as women that we should focus on to keep our hair healthy no matter how we wear it?
Right. I think, you know, there's a lot of distraction in many different ways. I think it all boils down to having a great hairstylist who would educate their clients, you know, about its chemical treatment, which is about chemical or your natural hair. There's so many things that could destroy your hair. I mean, a curling iron, curling your hair every day could destroy your hair. I mean, too much blow drying could destroy your hair. Too much process could destroy your hair. There's so many things, and I think it's all about the education. And I think that's what we lack more in the industry as hairstylists and clients, because we make so many things that are so accessible to clients. And these days, with all these social media we have on Instagram and Facebook, everybody posting how to do a perfect color, a perfect weave, and a perfect this and a perfect that. But you never hear one say, hey, if it didn't done right or placed right, or any process, how destructive it can be.
Right.
And there's a lot of destruction right now in how people do hair, and it's more about the money making and not about caretaking in the industry.
How your pet peeve is the how-to videos.
Yeah.
You know, how to color and how to this. But you have a lot of fans, you have a lot of people who follow your work and admire your work and almost maybe emulate your work. So what advice would you be for the proper how-tos if they're gonna go on that route?
Well, the thing about, like I said, it's all about education. First of all, you know, you have to figure out what's gonna work at that moment. You speak to your clients. I think one thing is knowing your client and what your client does. And I think that also helps a lot, because, you know, some clients, I mean, it depends on their job. Some women can take care of their hair more than some women, you know. I mean, of course, a lot of times we give clients something that they can maintain. So it's something called education. It's always good to give a consultation first.
Is that why it's a pet peeve to you? Because this is something online and there are no clients. It's kind of like you're just talking out to the vast world.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Is that where the pet peeve stems from?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think people, again, it goes back to like social media. And I mean, sometimes I watch all these hairstylists posting stuff on internet, and I kind of tend to laugh. I'm not laughing at them, but you know, I don't see education. I don't see education. All I just see is how to do a perfect weave, how to do a perfect color, and you know, these days everything is a big myth about, you know, the perfect installation, and And you know, again, there's so much things can destroy your hair. There's so
Right.
much destruction, and we as professional, when we make the consumer feel that they can go pick up a product and imitate what we do
Right.
without education, it's called destruction. Because she's thinking that, oh, I can just go pick up some needle and thread and
Right.
just sew my
And just
hair,
sew it.
or I could just pick up some color and just color my hair.
Right.
You know, it's gonna be okay. But everything is a process.
So
And
let's just break down the myth for women in hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of people who are going natural now,
Mm-hmm.
and that's great and that's okay. There's women who wear weaves, and that's great and that's okay. There's
Mm-hmm.
women who wear wigs, and that's great and that's okay. Is what you're saying is all of that is good, but you've got to maintain a healthy way of doing it.
yes.
Right.
Yes, it is.
So how do you know a healthy way of sewing in your hair if you're watching a how-to? You know what I mean? How do you define what's healthy and what's
That's the difference again. I can't stop people from posting stuff on social media.
Right.
No, I can't tell people not to go and Google something. I can't. I don't have that control as yet. But you know, I wish professionals would stop doing it because it's killing the industry and it's killing so much clients here. Because again, the myth, like people feel that they can go imitate what we do as hairstylists, and again, there's no education. You can watch all the YouTube that is posted on YouTube about coloring, weaving, whatever. Listen, I have no problem with any woman wants to wear weave or wig or pieces. I think it's a part of an accessory, and if
Yeah.
that makes you beautiful and that makes you happy, go for it. But be educated about it. Be educated that, hey, if it doesn't place right and everything is not done in the proper way, there could be destruction and you could destroy your hair.
So, bringing it back to hair care and all those things are important. I know you are constantly in the creative kitchen. You're constantly evolving yourself. You have
Yeah.
your own salon of 5+ years, and you're developing other things in the mix.
Yes.
What of that can you share with us?
Well, I hope that I can have my own tool line. I hope I can have my own product line, my own hair line. Everything that Neal uses, I want you to have it.
One thing, or maybe two things, you would say to an up-and-coming artist hairstylist, who models your footsteps, they really respect your work. They would love the chance to meet you, but maybe this is their opportunity. What would you say to them?
Keep working hard, keep working, and I appreciate everything, and I appreciate the love. I have so much fans who inspire me as well, as much as I inspire so many. I hear it so many times when I meet so many other artists. I inspire them, and I hope to keep on inspiring y'all, and I hope to keep doing different, and you know, keep following me.
I'm inspired. You're an inspirational gem. You're a rock star in my eyes, and I thank you so much for taking the time to have your first sit down with little old me in Brooklyn, New York. Putting so much. I thank you. I thank you.
Thank you so
I thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.